Okay, so I'm just trying to work out whether this is working. If only I knew what I was doing. How do I tell? Go live on Facebook. So it does look like I'm on the air. Okay. So what I wanted to just try to show you was I'm in Zoom at the moment, and I will go and share a presentation that I've got here on Brisbane during World War II. I'll just run this now, so that'll go full screen. So theoretically you should be able to see a slide that I've got here in this PowerPoint file on Brisbane during World War II. So if I go to the next slide, you can see the capability of Zoom online, and I'm now streaming this through Facebook Live, I hope. At least I think that's what's happening. But 2 weeks ago I did a Zoom conference. It wasn't this talk, it was a different talk on Townsville during World War II on air defence systems. And I think I had 48 people online at that point in time, but at that time I didn't know that you could also then stream it through to Facebook Live. So hopefully that's working at the moment. So I'll just skip through some of these slides so you can see what's happening here. I really don't know. I'm trying to look on my iPad to see whether this is actually going out or not. I can only assume that it is. So this is a talk that I give to various seniors groups around Brisbane and libraries, etc., Provost groups. Just talking about all the military camps in the Brisbane area during World War II. So that's a plan there of the 8th floor of the AMP building. You can see down the bottom here, that was General MacArthur's office. And in 1944, in May of 44, there was a duty officer in the air section of the Combined Operations Intelligence Centre in this room here, not too far from MacArthur's office. And he later went on to become the Secretary of Defence under President Ronald Reagan. And his name was Lieutenant Caspar Weinberger. There was a second gentleman that worked in that room with Caspar. He later went on to become the Governor General of Australia, and his name was Zelman Cowen. So Zelman Cowen and Caspar were very good friends. So when MacArthur arrived in Brisbane in July, of 1942, he and his family lived in the Lennons Hotel. MacArthur lived in this room just here on the 4th floor, just near the word "and" there, and his wife lived in the opposite room there, in the little U-shaped alcove there. Their son Arthur lived behind Jean MacArthur's room, and the General's doctor lived in the room behind his hotel room. Prior to the MacArthur and his family arriving there, and all the other Yanks that lived in the hotel. There was another infamous, I'll call him infamous, US Navy intelligence officer who stayed in Lennon's hotel. His name was L. Ron Hubbard. He, as you know, was the inventor of Scientology. He was there for 3 months, from January through to March. His job was to go down to the docks and meet the US Navy ships as they arrived and give them all the latest intelligence on the Japanese and German spies that were operating in the Brisbane area at that point in time. When the Yanks arrived, they carved Australia up into base sections. Here's a map of the various base sections. We were the headquarters for base section 3, which sort of went from Rockhampton down to Brisbane. Base section 2 was centred on Townsville, 1 on Darwin, etc., 7 on Sydney. Base section headquarters, base section 3 headquarters was in Somerville Girls' School at South Brisbane, just opposite the Maritime Museum. And that's a couple of colour photos from World War II taken by Lieutenant Mark T. Muller, who was a Signal Corps officer. He actually was in charge of the Signal Office there at Somerville Girls' School during World War II. That's the stadium, which later became the site for Festival Hall, which then got knocked down itself and is now a skyscraper type apartment block. That building in the background was Wilson House, which was used by the photographic section and historian group of the 5th Air Force during World War II. The world heavyweight title holder of the world, I'm just trying to remember his name, Gene Tunney, there it is. He was a commander in the US Navy at that point in time and was staying in Lennon's Hotel. And he didn't do any boxing there, but he did referee a few of the military boxing tournaments at the stadium. You've probably heard of the Battle of Brisbane. It was fought on the corner of Adelaide Street and Creek Street, where that red dot is, just outside the American Post Exchange. Just up the hill a bit in Adelaide Street was the Australian Wet Canteen and Desmond Chambers. That building's still there. It's a red brick building, and this building is still there as well. On the other side of the road was the Gresham Hotel. That's gone. And the American Red Cross diagonally across from the PX. That's also gone. It's not far from Anzac Square and Central Station, just up here. So what happened, a couple of Aussies were walking down the hill here towards the American PX, met up with a Yank, befriended him. They became best buddies. As they walked down to the PX, an arrogant American MP challenged the American, their best buddy and friend, and they stood up for him. Things got out of hand, developed into a fight, and eventually more MPs rolled up in a jeep armed with shotguns, pump-action shotguns, etc., 45 pistols. And eventually one of the MPs fired a number of shots. One of the Australian soldiers was killed, and I think it was seven others were wounded in that melee outside the exchange. That's the Forgan Smith building at the Queensland University. That was taken over just as it was almost being finished built by General Blamey and became his advanced land headquarters. I think I might end it there. I just wanted to give a trial run of how I could stream a Zoom webinar through to Facebook Live, and I actually hope that it was actually live. And I shall now finish this stream when I can work out how to do it. Stop the share. We're still live on Facebook. And I will now stop.